Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. We're back on Boxing Day in 2022. The Winter World Cup is complete and we are playing our first competitive game at Dundee. So if you don't know why we're here and you don't know quite how this has happened, please do click in the eye above to catch up with the previous episode. We introduce all of the squad and the staff that we're going to be working with today. So of course we're joining a club outside the window. We're not getting a pre-season, we're not getting a summer with them. We're just straight in with the squad that we inherited. It's not a Dundee side doing badly. It's one that's in 9th place, above expectations. And our job's just to keep them there. If we keep them up, we'd succeeded. So today, of course, no players to meet, but a lot of new staff coming in already. A director of football to meet, a second assistant manager, bizarrely, and 2 big games away at 8th place Motherwell, who we can overtake today, and 2nd place Rangers, one of the old firm. It's going to be a big old episode, so let's get straight into it. If you're looking forward to this one though, if you're a Dundee fan I happen to have picked up along the way, please do pick a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on for daily FM21 content from 2 long-term stories. This one, The Head Coach, and then our Build a Nation with Bangor City. And we've also got 2 weekly live streams as well. And a little bit awkwardly, the vote from my subscribers was for Dundee United. So we're now managing bitter rivals across the channel in 2 different series. But nevertheless, we're into it with Dundee today. Let's go and have a look at the staff that are joining us as we move into our first game at the club. A massive step up for us. We're still not quite sure how it's happened, but we're making the most of it. We've got a new director of football in, who the chairman appointed, and that director of football has already been quite proactive in getting staff in, although not on the recruitment side, which is a worry with the window less than a week away. But Jay Hurd is the man. He's 41 years of age and it's his first job here. He's on 1.4 grand a week. He's got a good reputation. He's not ambitious, but he's got good negotiation, decent judgment, and he's determined as well. So I'm hoping that means he won't be too slow in the window. We'll wait and see though. And then weirdly, his first move was to bring in a second assistant manager. So we've got Dave Mackay, who was already here. Not the best to be said. But then Frankie McAvoy has joined as well. A balanced personality, okay at what he does, and more importantly, an okay coach. But I don't really get the 2 assistant managers thing. It does seem to be a bit bizarre. So they're the 2 he's brought in his 3 weeks at the club so far. No more look like they're going on at the moment. And it means we're short of scouts, which is a concern. There's loads of players that have been scouted by the club though. And we did unearth a couple of gems in the development sides. So I was so excited and so surprised in the last episode, I forgot to have a look at the youth and the reserve team, something I normally do. In the reserves, I found Declan McDade, a 27-year-old right winger, a position we were struggling to find someone for, 2.5 ability, 3-star potential. He looks alright, doesn't he? Again, my player career stats have disappeared. There they are. So Hamilton, Ayr and Partick Thistle previously. But he's a solid enough pro. I'd fancy him to get off the bench and score a few. I'd fancy him to start for now while we're looking for a right winger in the window. Or hopefully our director of football is. We've highlighted it in the recruitment meeting and we need him to deliver. But he's got all the base stats and we're happy enough with him. And although he's the only one that will make an immediate impact on the first team, there are some other players in the youth sides with 2.5-star ability. One is 17-year-old centre-half Josh Archibald, who I'm keeping a very close eye on, because I think he's going to be an absolute superstar for us. And in Josh Mulligan, a 20-year-old midfielder, who I'm not as convinced about, and his potential's not as high. But for Archibald, a superstar in the making, probably the same for Carmichael, the 17-year-old keeper. There's certainly a lot of quality to produce players, and that's something we've got to look to in the future, particularly if our director of football's as active as the one at Arbroath, which is not at all. But of course, at Brecon we have Pat Nevin, and we're hoping Jay Hurd to return to that. But there's not much we can focus on off the pitch. We've got 2 massive games. We've had 3 friendlies. 2 of them went well. 1 of them went awfully. We lost 8-1 at home to Chelsea. We won 6-0 at home to Portcullis. And we won 5-3 at home to Slavia Prague. But it's going to be an interesting month. We've got loads of games coming up in January. You can already see what the next episode's going to be. I'm not actually going to show Celtic away because we've got transfer deadline day followed by the Dundee derby at home. It is going to be a monstrous episode. But this is the one we've got to focus on first. Let's show the tactic we've gone for. The dynamics are all looking pretty decent. So let's see how we've lined these boys up, shall we? So here is the tactic and the team for the first game away at Motherwell. It's a pretty interesting tactic. We've not managed to stick with in the end what the previous manager Gordon Strachan was doing. So we've dropped Gorin into his favoured role. We've gone for two wingers out wide. One is naturally a number 10 but plays well there. One's naturally a striker but can do the job. We've got a wing back on the left where Gorin is sitting. We've got a more defensive fullback where Pittman is pushing forward. So I'm a little bit worried we might get overrun, like that Chelsea game where it went really wrong. But we'll wait and see. You never know. We've gone for the lads to stay on their feet. We've tried to keep that attacking four up the pitch, just to give their back four something to think about, really. We've gone to counter, we've gone to distribute quickly. I guess the only difference to my normal tactic is we're not pressing quite so much, because that's the only thing I don't fancy in our side, particularly with the lack of legs in the middle, which hopefully will be addressed in January. I'm not sure that we can risk that for now, but wide play, into spaces, get it wide, get it in the box. We've got two good strikers, and let's see if they take advantage. Motherwell v Dundee, let me know what you think the score will be. Well, I didn't expect this to be a largely former Luton team here for Motherwell. Stephen O'Donnell at right back, who's just joined there in real life. George Moncur has ended up there, who's doing wonders for us. Scored a brilliant goal against Norwich in midweek, as I'm recording this in real life too. And then on the bench, it's Donovan Daniels, who didn't play much for us last year, but scored one crucial goal against Derby. Tony Watts up front, obviously very well known for that goal, but he's had a good career aside from that as well. Nathan McGinley used to play for Forest Green, I think, and Trevor Carson, a Northern Irish international. So plenty of quality, a very good side, and this is where the league gets tough. These are the sort of sides we should be competing with. And if this tactic struggles and we get overrun today, with Rangers next up and then more hard games in January, it could go wrong very quickly. We said the move might have come too soon, and now we're going to find out how soon it has been. As the long ball's headed away by Marshall, O'Donnell brings it down, just checking the tactics and the instructions for the highlights are on okay, as George Moncur picks it up in the middle, beats two men, shoots from distance, and it's wide at a post, but a good sign of ambition, and he had a bit too much time on the ball for my liking there. So at the new club, for some reason, the touchline tablet goes back over. I've moved that back to full view, and the only thing I want in here really is the league table. Of course, we're keeping an eye on us and Motherwell, but aside from that, Aberdeen struggling, Hearts struggling. If some of the others don't start dropping, we could be in trouble soon. Having said that, with half an hour on the clock, we've had the only shot on target of the match. Yes, Motherwell have had 7, but they're shooting from distance. They haven't had one on target yet either. So if they're going to keep just going from nowhere, then perhaps they are going to have more shots, and we have to accept that. Although they're in on the left-hand side here. Carroll crosses, the header's over. Oh, it's not the best start to the game. I'm a little concerned. I don't know how many of those chances are good. We have closed Moncur down, but he's taking a corner here, and Campbell heads just over. I'm really worried about the amount of territory they've got. We've only got 40% possession. We're not keeping it well enough. We're not playing well. But as it stands, it's okay, as Moncur takes a free kick. He's dangerous from knees. Plays short instead to McGinley. Back to Moncur. And we said in pre-match, and he has dominated this match from start to finish. A top quality player in the Scottish Premiership. And you have to say Motherwell deserved the lead at the break. I really don't know that this tactic's going to work. I'm going to point the finger. I'm going to say to do something else. But at the hour mark, I'm going to have to change it, because this tactic is not going to work against this level of opposition. We have got to throw it right back though. 7 minutes into the second half, McPate loses out in the air, and we haven't even got out of our own half really in this match. As Moncur comes forward again, it's shot straight at Chapman. He spills it himself, gets there before long for the rebound. It's the one area we're really weak is in goal. Chapman is a good solid backup, but he shouldn't be starting at this level. As the through ball finds Morris, it's great distribution. Carlton Morris drags his shot. Oh, we can't afford to waste those. We really can't. It's not good enough. Carlton Morris is the man we've got to rely on, and he can't produce efforts like that. So let's go and make some real tactical changes. We'll go back to what they're used to, and we'll see if it makes a difference. 1-0 down, completely outclassed, so let's go for it. We've gone to the 4-2-3-1, which they have been using. We've pushed Pittman up to number 10. We've sacrificed McGrath, and we've brought on Byrne as our box-to-box midfielder. Then out wide, on comes Scott Wright, who's electric quick, can beat a man, and Alan Forrest, who's an advanced playmaker. Of course, they're all naturally left-sided players, so we're just having to live with that. We've pushed up the fullbacks, got them in as wing-backs, one on attack, one on support, and we've pushed Gorin into a midfield too. So let's get into it. We've gone positive with 28 left, and I'd love to turn the game and nick a draw, but it could go the other way, of course. 10 minutes left. I'm demanding more. I'm going attacking. We're pushing forward. But there is nothing to come from it. No more shots on target, and Motherwell have been by far the better side. Aberdeen have gained a point on us. Hearts have gained a point on us. And with Rangers to come next, there is a lot of thinking to do. Back to the drawing board, but that original tactic doesn't work. That's the one thing we've learnt today. George Moncur won the game against us. What can you say? Luton quality. Back for game 2 as Dundee host Rangers, and it is getting very tight down the bottom. Again, Aberdeen against Motherwell is a 6-pointer. Hearts go to Celtic, so hopefully they'll drop points there. And we probably need St Mirren to do the number on Ross County to make sure they're definitely going to be bottom. But let's have a look, as we've got a sellout here today. We're expecting exactly that. And we're being recommended to make a lot of changes. Now, we've only had 3 days since the last game, and we've only got 3 days to the next. So I'm not sure how we're going to go about this. The one thing I have definitely decided is we're going defensive. We're going 4-3-3 and a holding midfielder, get people behind the ball, and hopefully we can work from there. We've also got McPake, who is unavailable because he's on loan from the parent club Rangers, of course, which does leave us a little bit tight because on the wings, we haven't got a right winger. We've talked about that. We're going to bring in McDade for a game today. He's a natural winger. It's the sort of player we probably want out there today. I'm going to put Sean Byrne in place of McGrath, the striker who comes out. Gorin will go into the holding role. Byrne will stay in as a box-to-box. We're going to have Pittman as the centre midfielder. And of course, it will be deep line playmaker duties for Gorin. It's just whether we want him on defend or support, really. So onto the bench will come Chalmers. He's a player who we're looking to get back to fitness. And then it's one of Wright or Forrest. I'll probably stick with Wright because he's got the pace off the bench. Forrest can play as an attacking midfielder, but we really don't need that today. We need someone who can play in the middle of the park. And that man, probably, ironically, again, we've not got much depth there, is going to have to be Thompson, the Newcastle youngster, because he's the only one that can do it. Ryan Duncan is natural in attacking midfield, but we haven't got another centre midfielder. So another weakness in the squad there, I'm afraid. So Forrest drops out, Thompson in on the bench, and otherwise, it's as close to the same team as we can do. We just want to keep them all working hard, keep them doing as well as they can. And we'll probably change a few duties a bit more defensive. We're going to time waste from the start, and we're going to try and nick a point off Rangers. The fact we're in the Premiership playing these types of sides after 4 months at Arbroath is incredible. So let's see if we can go and cause an almighty shock. 4-3-3 against Rangers. How do you think it will go? Any better than Motherwell? Or woes again? Well, one thing I didn't expect after 2 years is nearly the whole Rangers 11 has changed. Now, I know there's 4 or 5 very experienced players who would expect to have moved on, retired, whatever. But there's a lot of replacements. They've got Scott McKenna from Aberdeen. They've got Gilbert at right back. They've got Kemar Roofing still. Kennedy, the former Chelsea and Newcastle man. There's a lot of quality in that side. A few more familiars on the bench, the likes of Jack and Itten. Verlinden, a former player from Stoke, of course, the right winger. They're a good side, and it's going to be very hard to stop them. It's a 2-horse race at the top of the SPL. We're going to get to our tactics. We're going to time waste from the start. I know it's not what you want to see, and I know it's not the way we like to play, but we're playing against the big 2, and we have to do this against the old firm clubs, or it's going to be 6 or 7. So we're going to slow the pace down with a keeper. We're going to keep that defensive line. We're not going to press too high, and we'll probably get the fullbacks more defensive as well. So defensive duty for McGee. And then I'm also going to do the same on the left. Full back on defend for Marshall. Let's just get that back 6 defending and nothing else. Into the game we go. How long can we hold on for? We get through the tunnel interview. We trust the lads to do well. And in front of a packed house, it's Dundee v Rangers. And we didn't expect this day to come within 2.5 years. We certainly weren't expecting it when we left Brechin for Arbroath in the summer. But here we are. St Johnstone lead Dundee United, our rivals. It's going to make that game even bigger in the next episode. But with 25 gone, Rangers have had a few shots, but we've not seen much. So I'm guessing this is a good sign. 4-4-2 for our visitors. And so far we're holding them off. But they've got a free kick on the right here. Into the back post. Kennedy down. Oh, not from a set piece. We've conceded such a poor goal there. Marshall, the left back. It was just a poor misjudgment. It was so easy to get clear. And individual errors are costing us. St Mirren are leading at Ross County. That's the positive, as it's headed over by Kemar Roof. And we're not really showing any ambition, so I don't see how we get a goal here. I'm just keeping an eye on the other results. Aberdeen's still level at the moment, and Hearts is now the important one. Jason Cummings back at Hibernian. Didn't expect to see that. But at half-time, it's been alright. We only trail 1-0. Rangers haven't had a huge amount of chances. But let's go and get the lads to pick revenge. Jordan Marshall's had a poor game. He's a little bit nervous. So we'll probably get to see the young academy prospect today. As we're 7 minutes gone in the second half, we've got a goal kick with Chapman, or a free kick in his own half. But it's not a great kick. It's not really got much distance on it. Kennedy's nicked it and he's got him behind here. He has hit the side netting, thankfully. That's a really poor kick, though. What's his attribute for that? I'm going to have to go and have a look afterwards. We've got a warning to close Kennedy down, as for some reason, we've come out of the highlight there. Normally you can do those just by the click. As Campani's nicked it off the centre half, we really look so fragile at the back. Chapman makes a good save. We don't doubt his keeping abilities, but his distribution is causing us all sorts of trouble. I'm actually going to take Marshall off because he's struggling with morale. He's struggling with his ability. He's had a really poor game and he just can't get himself up for it. So on comes the youngster Lewis Strap. Aaron Chapman, he's got a good rating. His kicking's 13, so he should be getting past the halfway line, you'd have thought. But not today, apparently. And now we've got an injury. I think our right wing's cursed, isn't it? Declan McDade is coming off now, so I'm going to gamble a bit. We'll bring on Chalmers. He prefers to be an inside forward. Of course, we've got him at Dundee United in our live stream save. He starts there in his career. And just 2.5 years later, he's found his way to Dundee as Pittman puts the corner in, or the free kick, sorry. And we nearly got on the end of it. But now look at the break. It's 2-on-2. Where on earth's the defence gone? Kemar Roof's in. He chips the keeper and just beats the crossbar as well. But what on earth happened to the defence there? Rangers dominant. We've still only had one shot. If we push the fullbacks up, we'll be left 2-on-2 even more. And Hearts are winning at Celtic. Celtic are desperately trying to get us relegated, aren't they? I mean, I don't know what's going on here. Let's push McGee up to a support duty because we need to do something. He's going to go support. I don't know what Strap's better at. He's better at support as well, but we've already gone 2 down. It's a free header in the box. The one area we shouldn't have been conceding goals today is from crosses on the wing. And one we've conceded is from a set piece, and the other one is from a cross on the wing. It's really disappointing. We're going to take off the left winger. Scott Wright is on for him. He's got a bit of pace off the bench, but not much else in truth. And again, he prefers to be an inside forward. 10 minutes to go. Rangers lead 2-0. Can we get a consolation? McGee's ball in, headed away, and this is the pattern every time. Why have the 2 defenders just run forward past the ball? They didn't try to make a challenge on the player. It's 3-0 now. It looked offside, but that's irrelevant. We had 4-on-2 when the corner was cleared or the free kick. But then as Itten started to bring the ball forward, our 2 mid defenders who were back on the halfway line just surged past them. It's really weird to watch. We have scored a goal through a doffin, just a consolation from the set piece. But it's one of the more bizarre things I've seen tactically. So that's something we're going to have to work on. Set pieces on the training ground is a must. Because it cost us the goal against Motherwell, albeit in the second phase. And it's cost us 2 of our 3 here. So I don't know what to do about it. We're going to do a lot of work on the training ground. But with the games coming every 3 days, it's getting more and more difficult. Akinola at the back goes back to Chapman. Been a little bit of a weird spell, actually, as we play it out to the right to Chalmers. He's got time on the ball to McGee, to Rodriguez. Chalmers to Morris. Can we make it 2? Oh, it's a good save by the keeper. Could have been a grandstand finish there. Into stoppage time, we've gone 3-0 down, and finally, we're putting up a fight. It is a bit strange. It's frustrating as well. But here is Pittman with a corner from the right. Into the back post to Hollander, who heads away. Good ball as far as Akinola. He picks it up, time on the ball. And he cuts it inside, but he gives it away again. Hannibal down the right to Verlinden, to Itten. The defence is parting like the Red Sea every time. What on earth is going on in our back 4 today? There was no sign of that against Motherwell. What is going on back there? I don't understand that. None of the tactical duty set up would even suggest that that should happen. So we're going to have 2 choices here. Either we leave about 6 back from set pieces to try on the balance of probabilities to deal with some of the stupidity, or we go back to a different tactic as Rodriguez gets into Colton Morris. Chance to lob the keeper, but it's just over the bar. And to be fair, he had half the net free there. There was no need to try and lob him. As it is, we lose 3-1. We put up a good fight in the end. But defensively, some of that from our own attacking set pieces is bordering on the ridiculous. So a lot of work to get done in the coming weeks. Hearts just 2 points behind us now, and we're starting to get cut adrift. Celtic, the 11-time champions in a row, have lost at home to Hearts. they're not really helping us out here. And I feel like this may have come too early. We said it in the last episode when we joined. We couldn't reject the offer, but it's going to be a big challenge. We need help in January. We need work on the training ground. And we need a very quick improvement. Declan McDade out for a month. He'll miss all of January. And we will be back for the last day of the window, where hopefully our director of football will be active. And a massive game in the derby at home to Dundee United. Certainly one not to miss. A massive moment for us in charge. And we need to start picking up results fast. So let's go off camera and see if we can. A massive thank you to everyone who watched though. If you did enjoy it, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Not the start we were hoping for. Results in other games have almost harmed us more. But with the January window looming, a good director of football in place, I'm optimistic that side will get sorted. It's just whether we can take care of our bits. If you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on, please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. You'll get alerts as daily episodes release every day at 3:30 from this series and from our Bangor City save as well. That one's a Build a Nation and we're starting our first European campaign, so please do give that one a try too. We've got 2 weekly live streams from the team you voted for, which awkwardly is Dundee United. That one continues on the channel too, and as long as you've got that bell on, you'll get alerts every time we go live. You can catch up with the podcast channel in the eye above too. Loads of content from championship predictions to manager specials, and plenty in terms of interviews with pros as well. Loads of fun content over there. We really love making it. It's a dream to speak to some of the professionals. So thank you for supporting that and making it a success. I really do appreciate it too. But we'll be back for the Dundee derby and transfer deadline day in January. It does not get much bigger than that, so I hope to see you next time.